You spoke about LERC performance. I heard you say that LERC has been satisfied one of the best regulatory commissions globally in Africa. I want to give me an example. You know, like, bro, why the regulators?
Okay.
Give me an example from being us.
Thank you.
And vis-a-vis with the performer at LEC, since in 5-1, LEC, everybody's complaining. We don't know what kind of control, regulatory control you have over LEC. And besides LEC, do we have other private players in the market?
Thank you so much. The first thing the LERC is an evolving institution. What it has succeeded in doing is carving the relevant regulations to govern the sector. It is true that LEC is our problem child, or one of our problem children. And over time, the LERC has taken very rigid action. More recently, there was a fine imposed on LEC for not reporting. The act that created LERC asked for periodic report, and so the LEC was fined. How to solve that problem? Of course, currently there's no monopoly on the market. LEC no longer has monopoly. How to solve that problem is to encourage more competitors, because when there are many players in the market, well, the current law has canceled monopoly.
Yeah, no,
but technically, Senator, yes, technically I agree with you.
So how
because
how LERC
and so when the center has no
how LERC has become a global regulator on the Kenyan regulator market?
So in Africa, yeah, like I said, we are the 10th. Here's the reason, Senator. The energy sector is evolving, especially for many developing countries. When the LERC was established in 2015, there was a huge support from donors. The first challenge was to make sure that it's a regulatory agency, so we must have the regulations. So the first thing they succeeded in doing was to carve those very relevant regulations. Currently they have only 15. And if confirmed, I intend to support the carving of 2 additional
Are you
ones.
aware that LERC was made based on about LEC?
I'm aware that
Through the Malayan talent, Malayan fund.
what I'm aware of, Honorable Senator, is that the LERC raises revenue through. No, I'm not aware. I'm not aware.
So I want to know how they begin global regulator when they are regulating in the market.
So, Honorable Senator, they are benchmarks. They are
Give me
indicators.
one example. Where they went to do regulation and they went global.
So one of the indexes is to have vibrant regulations. So what makes it challenging, what makes it seem as though that they are not working, is because you only have one big player in the market, and we as a regulator.
What's that mean LERC from? Since in 5, there's no monopoly. What's that mean LERC from bringing, say, Divine Moravia into because one of the challenges with this thing, Divine Moravia into bring private people to provide electricity, but LERC always want that. And LERC are not being able to stop everything from breaking that. So what do we intend to do with that kind of situation?
And that's the problem, Honorable Senator. The LERC is not called for the responsibility of sourcing investors. We regulate them when they come. The lands and mines, the energy section of the lands and mines, and maybe other relevant, the growth conception or investment can source those investors when they come. This can be equated to the GSM sector. Orange and Lone Star, LTA regulates them, but LTA cannot go and be asking. At that point, we might become conflicted.
What is the term? What is the term of your? Are you way and pleasure, or are you tenure?
This is a tenure position with a 4 year.
With a 4 year term.
Yeah.
You think we should remove a tenure and remove way and pleasure?
Well, in the minds of the crafters of the art, I think they have envisioned something, for which I think so.
attorney wants to do it. I don't know.
When they try to remove 10
Attorney for a movie.
Honorable Senator, that.
But you gonna get the man the man that made law. I never supported that.
We'll hold it to refuse our act. For a professional opinion,
Honorable Senator, as a lawyer, I am not impressed with all the facts, so it makes the question almost hypothetical.
I'm saying no, not hypothetical. In your second case right now, the job you're going for.
10.5.
10.5 DNA.
But
The question is intended to instruct me. But how? You the man? The man can speak for himself?
okay, I mean, believe me, what I'm saying. I think you say you respect the attorney position. One of the issues you raised, I want you to convince me. You are there a regulator. You said, let me see, I wrote it down. You said you will stop power theft. What are you going to do to stop power theft as a regulator?
So here's my point. I did not say I will stop power theft. I'm saying
say you endeavor to stop power theft.
through the enforcement of our regulation, the awareness that we create. For example, there is a customer or service regulation that we have. In that regulation, the LUC has, or any service provider for that matter, has obligation to disconnect somebody without notice. And the LUC is also responsible to ensure that if somebody fails to recharge, for example, after 24 hours, and the person recharges his meter, you're supposed to connect them. So people might be taking matters into their own hands. In the law, we say self-help, which is not permissible legally. They might be taking matters in their own hands because they're not aware of the rights they have in keeping with these regulations.
My question is, when you as a commissioner, or one of the commissioners, you got a three, correct? And one of the commissioners, in the first place, all you don't have to sing 10, correct?
Now we have to sing. Initially, it was staggering for the purpose of continuity. But now that we've had 3 commissioners, so it's 4 years now.
My question is,
You don't end the same time.
Yes, it's staggering.
Okay.
so you the first man.
No.
Who is first?
There's someone there. The chairman is currently serving.
Chairman, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be the second person.
My question is, as a regulator, assuming you have 4 or 5 questions in the market, are you going to assume the responsibility of running the and stopping that, or you're going to put a particular regulation and stop it?
So there's already a regulation in place. And I believe people are falling into problems that run the risks of getting involved with power tech because these regulations, in my mind, are not being sufficiently publicized, or people are not adequately aware.
Give me one example. How you aware?
Yeah, so we can go in the vernaculars. My grandmom in Quebec, 83 years, she doesn't know how to read these regulations. But she listens to it in her Grebo vernacular. Even if she doesn't understand something, she's going to call me, my son. Can't they both say when my meter stop, then she's supposed to come back when I recharge. I'm not seeing it, so I can't take matters in my hands. What can I do? So the awareness helps because when people know their rights, they know the obligations of the service provider to them, they know they will not take matters in their own hands and they will not run into this trouble.
Logan, you explained to me, it's good that you went both in the car and you were one of the presidents of
So you are no car as ORC?
Yeah.
Then CDC gonna fire you?
No, they did not. I resigned.
What you say? My name will force you.
No.
General, sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, you come to talk. I mean,
No, I don't know, Father, what happened?
No,
I know she's very qualified. She was, you know, she was.
So it's LPRA.
LPRA.
Yeah.
So Nuka is
So local is the commercial arm of the sector. For
So
the purpose of
they
the
don't
government.
engage in direct negotiation. You do right?
So we do direct negotiations. However, they have they did an amendment to the law in 2019 1 talked about a broadening of the licensing option. They came up with the direct negotiation, that's how it came up. But previously, the act gave competitive bidding process because they wanted us to go by the international standards. However, they had an amendment done to the law in 2019 that gave birth to the direct negotiation, and they did executive allocation for local.
So the direct negotiation, do we still allow Liberia participation? What is the percentage? 5%.
5%. However, I follow up with the Senate discussion, and they talked about section 36 down to 36.7 that they asked to combine the law as per the 5% stakeholder right. But to the extent of Liberia's financial strength, the Liberian person that would be taking part in that agreement should have that financial power to maintain that 5%.
Yes, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Good afternoon, nominees. Okay, so I will take disclaimer. I've known Mao for a long time. We're once business partners, so just so that. Yeah.
Let everybody know.
I don't know.
Okay, so Anthony Kla Toomey.
You know guiders.
What's the secret? What's the secret?
About 35 copies.
My sister.
Okay,
I will get it back to you.
I represent the Senate when it comes to security issues, national security.
I love it.
Are you guys? Are you guys?
So, hydrocarbon it was really
Hey guys, security implications are coming down. Firstly, do you guys do drugs? Did you bring a drug test for us to see as to whether you find these drugs?
No, sorry.
Are you willing for us to decide you have to bring director to test whether
Yes.
old music? I didn't hear you answer. I didn't hear the I'm sorry. I didn't hear you answer.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay.
Honorable.
Okay. So in the next 10 days, please, Mr. Chairman, let them make their drugs test available for our record. Thank you. Take more. And now let's go to. I'll come back to. Let me go to Mali. Mali.
Yeah.
I mean, you did a very salient and nice presentation. Let me commend the government, His Excellency Mr. Barber, for nominating you to this position, considering your experience. But I have this question that has been lingering in my mind, and I've heard other people ask about this, so it means an interest. You were a Nuka before, and we just talked to the board of Nuka a few days ago. And that institution got some very serious financial implication when it comes to maintaining the institution. Nuka. It's talking about salary, operational costs, and so the question to you. Do we have enough oil in Liberia, in offshore, that can be able to be processed, managed, and to take care of the car's expense and benefits?
So, first, we start with local commercial arm, and then we come to LPRA as the regulator. As regulator, we are not making profit. So, we depend heavily on the government for support.
I'm asking
No, I'm coming, I'm just establishing. So, you start with discovery. Discovery leads to commercial quantity. Commercial quantity informs you if this is viable. When it's commercial quantity, then you move on with everything because it has said enough. Now, discovery only tells you that here we have hydrocarbon, But you got to keep going and doing your test, your analysis and everything using the data. So we have TDS that has our data, and these companies that are interested will go and buy the data. The data is then used to interpret where they think the hydrocarbon is. So that's how they will give you interest, like, okay, so I want black 16, I want black 15, because of the analysis. However, it still has not said if it's commercial quantity. Now, you go back. You have to drill. You have to go and find commercial quantity there. When you find that commercial quantity, you also have to find out if where you have found it, it is something that you can get from there. Because finding it is one thing, and extracting it is another thing. So you find, you extract, then you move to the market. When you move to the market, then you now sell. When you sell, at the rate you sell and you make profit after you have taken out the expenses from there, it tells you that with the profit, you have that commercial value, right? So to answer your question, margin, so as with Ghana, so as with Guyana, they've tried, and it was like nothing. However, today, you have customers right in Ghana. After they drill 102 wells, they are in Ghana today in the form commercial quantity. Move on to Guyana. Same happened there. And today, Exxon is there. The same Exxon that is already knocking at our doors. That's why we have to negotiate with them. There is something happening in the basin. Right next door to us, Ivory Coast. 2-3 days ago, it's all out. They found another commercial quantity there. So it informs us, yes, that we have that viability. However, we need the expertise, we need the people to come in with the financial strength and the technical know-how. Then we can answer. But yes, to answer your question, the possibility that we have commercial value exists.
So, from your explanation, you advise an expert that we want to pump some money in the car.
Not local. Because the thing that is, I cannot tell you don't put money in local. Local has their own money because they generate their money from the sales of data. Unlike us, right? We don't have anything. We have to go down to negotiate. We have to get these companies to come in. And we will now make revenue for the government and the people of Liberia. So I'm here to tell you that the first thing is, let me just share this too. That's something that I had in my presentation, but then I didn't have the time. That's one key priority for me, the collaboration with local. Because the framework of the law, this act, had it in a way that local is the commercial arm and LPRA is the regulator. However, few changes that were made when local went to London to negotiate with TGS to sign a new contract, LPRA was kept out. So it's something that we have to see because we are working as a team. So we now have to sit down and then have like a little workshop so that they tell each person where this is, where you are, and then how we can all collaborate to have a smooth sailing.
So, but so you are telling me that you don't have a clear role play.
For local will speak for themselves.
No, you are asking you.
I don't have a clear role.
You are not understanding your clear role play when it comes to negotiating with.
No, I answered. I said no. LPRA is responsible to negotiate, to facilitate, to administer licenses, to go into
When you say
agreements.
with the changes in the law,
No.
so I want you right that you need a workshop and information.
Yeah.
You need a workshop to define the role very clear. The ambiguity between your function and local function. So then what do you need a workshop for?
So
If it is clear in the law.
So one thing, and that thing is the data sale. That's what I said. The sale of data, because we need portion of that money to support LPRA. It was clear in the law. So the data that TGS is managing for us, portion of that amount has to come to the LPRA. Portion goes to local.
Is it clear in the law?
Like I said, it was clear. However, the ambiguity there, we need the FEMAs to come in and
Well, you don't have to answer my way.
On the nominee, I see here you talking about SS movement.
Yeah.
I heard the name before, why in the private sector?
That's 2 minutes.
Yeah. Have they had any relationship with the Liberia government before?
That's not being here.
So what did Liberia benefit? Why did they leave?
So as we are
When they
aware,
put their nominated, they put their come in hearing. When they put their nominated, they put their come in hearing. Why you confronting me one time? The man will say, "Are you nominated?" He say, "You come to hearing again." Then man will confront them. They put their coming there.
so
Yeah. So because this is very key for me.
we had a lot of companies that were licensed. During the 2016, we had a decrease in the price of oil. And nobody will want to do business like you have your security firm. And if you have so many security firms around here and the price is just all out, and people will now start going to maybe the lease or they will either have to abandon, right? Okay, so in the case with the oil companies, they were not interested in staying. So as the license expired, they left because of the decrease in the oil price at the time.
Global.
Yes, all of the companies, all of the institutions that we had at the time, we had a lot. They were lined up. But at the end of the day, they had to go.
Okay, so the last question, Mr. Chairman, you know how many days to do security? No, here's a security part. Here's a security part. You know, I wonder if you do research, oil is associated with security issues. Right next to Nigeria. What mechanism, security planes will have? She's heading the regulatory, so she has to have it. So yes, we have that.
Please answer.
Yeah.
Please,
So what security planes? Because when you talk about oil, you talk about security. You talk about national security being threatened for the presence of oil. So what security plans are you all having to put in place to prepare? So when oil is being, formed in commercial, people are attacking our oil or our facilities on sea. What security plans do people have to put in place? And I would love to see this plan. Maybe 6 months from now, I would love to be part of this plan, see it and see how it's being rolled out.
Thank you, Honorable, for such a brilliant question.
Yes.
If confirmed by this honorable body, you being a part of this committee will help us to strategize security plans to present to the security sector on how we're going to go about doing this. But at this moment, I cannot say anything because I'm not security minded at this point to say this or that. But you would be the best person to hear this.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Cyrus.